I love your sign. It says, "Keep America free, communism distancing." It's very good. And you just told me that you experienced it. Tell us a little bit about that.
I was born and lived in communism society for about 10 years before I came to this country. And that was 40 years ago.
And what was that like?
Scary. I was thankful that I was too young to remember too much of the real stuff.
Do you notice that with the violence we've seen in the streets and the political violence, Antifa, Black Lives Matter violence, does that worry you as someone who escaped a communist country?
Terrifying. This I'm seeing is the start of it all. I mean, I came from Vietnam, so I must admit my family was part of the original boat people in the 80s, political refugees. We had to escape and took only 2 little bags of our belongings to leave, and not even knowing if we can survive the trip. So I still remember vividly what it was like. But it's a start. This is how it started, with government dictating what we have, what we can have or not. I remember my mom said that we were rationed a kilo of rice for the family, and that's your 1 month ration. If you didn't have money, that's it. That's all they give you. But if you have money, you go out to the black market and get what you need. They ration everything. There were lines to everything. And then they teach your kids to snitch on you. They teach the kids to tell on the parents.
That's what's happening right now here in
America. That's
America.
What's happening right now. Virginia, I heard that there is a call out, $42 an hour, to hire people to go into businesses and check to make sure, snitching up on them to make sure that people were wearing masks. What do these masks really do? It's not proven to be effective.
It's not clear.
It's not clear. So the long-term effects, the psychological effects, is longer than that. And what is this? This is really it's not about the virus anymore. It's about control. And I'm seeing it repeating. This is what they've done to us. And I was 10, so I lived 5 years there. My dad was put in they call it re-education camps, but it's a concentration camp. And every day is a psychological effect, in that if they didn't like somebody because he resisted, they take him out and execute him right over the PA. So it's loud and clear. The message is out there loud and clear. You go against us, this is what happens to you. They want to educate you their way. Right. They basically want to brainwash you and propagandize.
I've heard people in the United States on the left say we need to be re-educated, us people here.
Yes, and that's the scary part of it. It's
scary.
Mandatory now with some companies, including one that I'm working for. They're talking about it now. Mandatory sensitivity training towards Black Lives Matter.
Right. This is the critical race theory that the president has banned from getting federal dollars. And this kind of stuff, have you had to sit through that yet?
No, not yet, but that's what they're planning right now.
So
it's mandatory, and then if you don't attend, what is it going to happen to you? Because they give you a raise based on certain goals that you meet during the year, and this is going to be added to your performance evaluation.
That is really scary. Right? That is really scary. And
what's sad to me is I am a minority, but the way they're promoting it right now is there's certain part of the minority population that you can be protected, not everybody.
Not everybody.
And especially for us Asians, our academics, our progress is so high that even the kids in these schools, especially in Fairfax, Virginia, there's a heavy population of Asian Americans.
Yes.
They're not getting the same treatment.
No, Asian kids are discriminated against because of their scores, and they get docked points because of it's really unfair. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly unfair.
For me, equality is equal opportunity for everybody, not based on your race, not based on your skin color. They actually use the word visible minority in my company as one of the criteria they're going to
Wait a minute. So if you are a minority but no one can tell, you're an invisible minority, so you don't count.
You have to be visible minority.
Wow.
So whatever happened to what Martin Luther King had preached about years ago, it's not the color of your skin, it's the content of your character. It's the reverse right now. You have to be visibly looking like a minority before they consider you. I mean, I thought at first it was just a buzzword somebody had used, but it was used 3 times in a slide deck within the company.
Maybe you need to get a new job.
I do.
On another note, on a more happy note, I have to say something about Vietnam. You people have the best Vietnamese spring rolls I ever ate.
Well, you can come over and
I want to come over. Can I come over?
we're known for that. And then there's a pho.
The pho. Oh,
Right.
so good.
But you know what? This country, it comes back down to it. You have all the opportunities here. This is the last bastion of freedom we have. We've talked among ourselves and saying, we ran over here. We thought this is going to be our last destination until we die. This is repeating all of this brainwashing, even to our children's generation. They're completely clueless on what's happening. The people that are from my community who did not have a chance to, they were too busy working. They don't have time to go and talk history to their children. And those are the kids that we've lost to the other dark side. And it's sad because for us, we need to know our struggle. This is the land of opportunity.
Where are we going to go?
Where are we going to go from here? There's nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
No place.
And I mean, to me, when I was little, this was heaven. This was paradise. I remember ending up on the shores of Malaysia, and they told my parents that all the paperwork and stuff, you might wind up in the refugee camp for 2 years. And I thought, oh my goodness, 2 years until I see Grandma. My grandmother was already over here in the U.S. during the 1975 lift. But I thought, 2 years, that's not too bad because I'm going to be living in paradise. And I remember that. There's this thing where they took us on an island in Malaysia. It's called Pulau Bidong. It's infested with rats. It's a rat island, okay? But they get all the Vietnamese refugees on there. The boat people landed on there while the paperwork is being done. And I smell the sweet smell of apples. We don't have a lot of apples over there, so it was a luxury item. But that sweet smell, and I realized later on, and one of my friends said, it was the smell of freedom, wasn't it? And she described it perfectly. It was that smell of freedom. And I never thought, I could actually land in a place where we can call it free. Because where we came from, there was no opportunity for me, being a child of a former military personnel, right? They booked my dad. They stripped away his citizenship. He was no longer a Vietnamese citizen when they let him out 3.5 years later, only because he lied on his records that he wasn't doing much more than civilian services. Every day, they put a blank sheet of paper in front of him on a desk and he said, here, rewrite what you've done. All his bio, basically what he's done up until that point. They kept telling him to rewrite it over and over, and then they take it and they throw it away. They try to make you do it over and over until you trip and reveal yourself. It's because he turned himself in the city, not where he served and had his troop. They came that night to get him, and my mom said he already left. He joined, he turned himself in, and she couldn't find him for a month later. And so all this struggle, my parents just left our 3-story home right smack in the middle of Saigon and left in the dark morning. And it was 3 days after the Lunar New Year where everybody was celebrating. And we figured that was an opportunity because nobody would detect us because they're too busy partying. And we almost got caught. It was trying times, times that some people wouldn't want to relive that. That's why they don't talk to their children. They don't tell those stories. It's horrific.